what it is, your boy King Vice Versa, aka Big Miyagi, in the building. Talk that shit, episode 4, man. I got my comrade, man. They already know we do.
Yo, kiss my Converse. No, seriously, though. You know who it is? It's your boy DJ.
Hey,
Deep discussions with these nuts. Logic reason with these cuts. And you know what? Yeah, we better get on to some hot topics today.
Come on, man. And see, that's the thing, G. You know what I'm saying, man? We definitely gonna look. We come to young verses. You know what I'm saying? You got me styling on. That's all. You know, my Kansas City swag. You know, that's the end of the day where I'm coming from. That KC, you know what I'm saying? Cheese, you know how to go. But anyway, you did. Episode 4, talk that shit with. You understand, man? What's this Ja Rule versus Fat Joe?
I got a lot to say on this one. Bro.
Hey, look, man, without further ado, hey, let's get right to it. Yeah. So, what should I holler at? Where you go first on this one? Well, listen here, man. Hey. Hey, you know what, man? I was gonna go with a soundtrack. We may or we may not. Hey, you know what I'm saying? Go with the young soundtrack. Yeah, but listen, man. First and foremost, you know, shout out Fat Joe, Ja Rule, Golden Era MCs. You did. You know, to be honest, I was a little shocked.
What you mean you was shocked?
Shouldn't have been shocked. But Ja Rule was always been a performer, G. Fat Joe has always been about the party. I think that, you know what I'm saying, they brought the best of what they do to the table. But of course, you already know what my main thing was. Y'all kind of, first of all, y'all coming after that Lox versus Dipset. That's true. So shit really, you know what I'm saying, it's kind of hard to match that energy. I see they were trying to, you know what I'm saying, take a page out the book, but it didn't hit as hard. Okay? It was good for them, though.
You almost got to ask yourself, anybody who came after that, Lox and Dipset battle, were they going to try that little stunt, you know, that little talking stuff, and making an idle threats that we already planned in the background? I mean, it worked the first time. For me, man, I'm just not a fan of stuff working twice for somebody else. The original, right? That's what hip hop's about. But I'm not trying to say bros wasn't original. I'm not trying to say they weren't original. I'm just saying they fall into that trap. Me and you could have battled each other. We probably would have tried that stunt too. Is that a fact or not?
I mean,
come on, man. That's what the vibe is at.
When you come from that era, man, you understand. It's you know, it is what it is. Real battle is real battle. The problem is, like I said, we just saw what Jada just did single-handedly
with Jada fan though,
man. to Dipset, man. It was
like
it wasn't even right to him. But hold on, it was the whole set. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I know we're gonna get into a little bit of differentiation and you know what I'm saying, what happened between two verses. But man, yeah.
Well, I heard you say something that bothered me just like a minute ago. You said something, my brother said something about something surprised them. What surprised you again?
No, to be honest, I mean, you know, it was a cool. I enjoyed it for what it was, and like I said, Ja Rule popped out as the performer that he's always been.
So that didn't surprise you.
No. I'm just saying, we forget because of what, you know, the 50 situation. Sometimes we forget Ja Rule. He had hits. Let's not get it twisted, bro.
What surprised?
He was doing this thing. I'm just saying that he still came. He came and had that same element, bro. He had the same energy to him.
So did Fat Joe.
So yeah, no, Fat Joe did too. But again, it's been so long since we saw your man, bro. I didn't know what to expect. That's why I say it's a surprise. I'm like,
okay,
man,
well, we'll see.
You know, so what? So out to Ja Rule, man.
So what else?
And Fat Joe.
No question about it. And I will say another thing to that point. When the Lox and Dipset battle, you know, Fat Joe gave a great commentary. He said he was front and center. He was in the audience. And so, you know, it's funny how he was the next up to Verzuz. But I will say one thing. Look, man, I'm 42 years old. So, you know, I'm a a high school graduate of '97, right? And so my thing is, I can remember back when I was a freshman in like '93, '94, and I was listening to Fat Joe when he first came out. He came right after KRS. I think it was during that time somewhere when KRS was still bubbling. 2 years later, after Fat Joe came out, or maybe three or four, whatever, he came out with the Step Into the World. So they both from the Bronx. And so, just being a brother, typically I'm gonna go listen to brothers first. But I gave this Puerto Rican, it was a Cuban and black or something, whatever.
They say both, man.
I listen to people who I can kind of like identify with, but I gave him a chance. He's from the Bronx. That's where hip hop started. So my thing is, I like Fat Joe. I like some of the old school cuts he tried to do in the beginning, but let's be clear, I'm not really a fan of both of them. That doesn't make what we finna do tonight difficult to do on an observation and analyzation level. I'm just saying, like, I'm a fan of Dipset and the Locks. So, this is gonna be a little different in terms of the expectation, but I will say that I always felt that Fat Joe was more closer to what we would consider, at least in the '90s, what a real MC was supposed to be, and then he carried it to the 2000s with the hits. That surprised me because how he came out first. He came out more as a rugged Timberland, baggy clothes.
Right, but he was still basic for that time. He wasn't like crazy lyrical.
Okay, but lean back. Lean back. Like he got. So I like how he went from rugged MC to like hits maker. That's what made this battle. That's what made this battle a little bit more balanced because it was funny because Joe said in the middle of the battle. He said, "Go ahead, John, play your pop records." I'm like, Joe, you done went pop a long time ago. A little bit. You gotta
play the vibe.
I get it. That was too, but that was too much Locks and Tips. Some caps, some roasts don't need to be had, bro. You know what I'm talking about? Me talking about you. It's kind of obvious you putting on a little much. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Right. No. You right. I just, man, I like I said, they took that page out of that book, and that right away grabbed me. Like, okay, y'all, because what Jada and them did, man, is classic. That's probably one of the most legendary versus battles that probably
definitely it's probably the best one.
And so you asked me like why that was the case, what I'm saying, off camera, and I'm like, oh. Everything about it was New York versus New York, and it was at the Madison Square. God,
the Locks and Dipset.
Right. And then
I think this one was at Madison Square as well.
I don't think it was done. I don't think it was there.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think it was there. I mean, dude, just to put the Fat Joe was in Nate.
It definitely didn't seem like they was at Madison Square just by how the crowd sounded. Didn't the crowd seem a little bit? Maybe it was the camera angles. If they were at Madison Square, because the Locks and Dipset, you can hear the crowd.
I'm saying,
but Fat Joe, and that's the one thing I didn't like was the crowd. Man, the crowd didn't.
Vibe all in this.
I don't know, man. Maybe it was the wrong angles from the camera.
That was the vibe all in itself, though. You know what I'm saying? They was doing their own thing, bro. Think of a Dipset verse. I mean, I see what they was walking through, elbowing each other, man. They was playing the whole thing. We had seen that shit. So for these dudes to get up there and try to do the same thing was like, y'all clearly copied. You know what I'm saying? And it didn't even hit like it did with.
Can I ask you some of your opinion on something? I'm not saying this. Do you ever get the opinion with? Okay, because you got brothers and all, but I noticed just in being in Minnesota, man, you might rap with some biracial cats, some white cats, and some of them seem like they kind of doing a little bit much to show how rugged they are. Do you ever get the impression that Fat Joe was putting on like the rugged part too much, or is it just it's?
I mean, I always kind of got that.
Yeah, okay. Talk about it. Yeah.
No, I'm just saying,
just the way he talk and the way he come across. I mean, he probably sold crack, Joey crack, right? But I'm just saying, sometimes it just feel like the extraness, and it came out in this battle, the extraness. Like all the stuff he even called the sisters Gus. Okay, I was like,
yeah, we gonna get into that. That was wild. That was wild, man. It was. See, first of all, for me, it was always about pun, man. Fat Joe. I always saw Fat Joe as, hey, he was the head of Terror Squad. You know what I'm saying? He'd jump on the track if need be. You know what I'm saying? And if Pun hadn't passed away,
Mhm.
you did. That's Pun was the face of that.
Yeah.
Fat Joe just kind of stepped into the thing, and he ended up having some hits along the way.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
But it
You
does
ain't got
speak.
to be a cold MC to have a hit.
No,
So
but it speaks volumes. Think of the
you
battle
know,
rappers.
I'm not.
What are they? What are
And
the?
shout out to him for his longevity though, 'cause that's what it is.
What about the battle rappers we always talk about that never can make it, transition to making hits? So it does have something to be said about somebody who
But you ain't
starts.
none of them battle rappers at all. None of them.
I know, but I'm just making a point about changing your style to fit something else. You got to give Joe credit for that.
Well, no, that's the
Right.
industry. The industry does that. That's their job.
But they gotta make sure there's an artist who can actually make that transition.
Bro, we don't see that. Oh, come on now. You ain't even got to be an artist to make that transition. We don't see that in recent years.
Okay, but back in those
We
times,
talking Lil Yachty, Lil Uzi, Lil.
I'm talking about. No, wait. I'm talking about the time during the time. Here's the education during the time when there wasn't no social. Yeah, when there wasn't no social media, it was a different kind of promotion. Then is my point. So it was different then. I see what you're saying now, though. I respect what you're saying now. Anybody can do it now. Social media, you can pump yourself up, whatever. But back then, it wasn't like that. And so for Joe to transition to a different time to even now, this time where he got his own podcast, that's like 3, 4 transitions. I mean, I'm just giving him credit. I'm just giving him his flowers, his roses. But I will say one thing. I'm not a big fan of Ja Rule. I used to say to myself with the bandana tied up and he had the rugged voice. He kind of reminded me of Tupac, but it was hard but it was hard for me to compare him to Tupac. It was just strange. He even mentioned that in the battle. He said, he did that one song, Pain or whatever it was, which is a dope track. I'm not saying Ja Rule don't have dope track. He has hits, is what I was going to say. He, to me, had the most classics. And Joe tried to make the point about, because he came before Ja Rule and after Ja Rule, because Ja Rule's not doing music right now. He made the point about saying that, you can have hits before, you can have hits in the after, but you got hits in the middle and nobody remembers those hits. Pretty much what Fat Joe was trying to get at. And Ja Rule threw that right back in his face because a lot of them songs that Ja got, there's a reason why 50 Cent went after him. Outside of the personal issue,
50 is a marketing genius.
But to market your genius, you almost have to say, I'm not going to go after somebody just because he in my town and we battled him for the spot. You say he's actually making noise. Ja Rule was actually making noise at a point in time, and you got to get that to him. So when they got on stage, and I can see his point, it's like Ja just had the energy. Oh my Lord, man!
That's what I mean. Remember, see 50 came.
Yeah.
Now, for one, we had lost Pac, Biggie, all that. Wasn't too much gangster rap. You feel the void. But if you notice, he got a habit of going after whoever on top.
Right.
Whoever making moves. That's why him and Diddy beef.
And so we saying Ja was on top. And so, one thing you can't say just because
you can't take that away from him.
You can't.
Ja had his moment.
I think at that time I was probably listening to more like Talib Kweli, Mos Def, those kind of guys, Common, Royce,
Black
Thought, right? And so I was on that vibe, but that's not to say that he was bubbling. People would make fun of him in like the little hip hop shops that I would go to where we would like try to do our little underground music, but at the same time he's popping on the charts. So he had to be something because 50 still to this day brags about taking Murder Inc. out of business. You still got Irv. Yeah, Irv Gotti still, got the whole like extortion thing, and they was calling 50, 5-0, and he just had to be back in that time where it was a lot going on. But 50 did take him through his life, but that's not to say he's not credible. But I will say one thing, bro. Ladies. Oh, ladies. Remy Ma, Vita, Lil Mo, the ladies stole the show. There was even a point in time where Remy.
Ashanti.
Oh, go with Ashanti first. Go with Ashanti first.
But no, go ahead.
I was going to say, hey, Remy, if you ever get in touch with this cast and you watch this episode, I'm gonna tell you right now, you spitting, get it. You know how it is. Look. Hey, listen, Remy, the way you spit puns verse on that deep cover, it gave me a whole new perspective of, yeah, as an MC, you should write your own stuff, but it does speak volumes when a rapper who made she writes her own stuff. But let's say there's a rapper who spits some kind of cadence and some sort of style of flow that not even the person who writes can spit. She writes her own stuff and she can kill any cadence. That let me know how dope Remy was. She spit that pun stuff. I mean, she said diddly diddly doobity diddly diddly. I mean, I was like, man, golly, girl.
Remy an OG.
He brought her out like 3 or 4 times.
That's the reason. Look, he gave the burger back. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, look, man, come on, bro.
Did you
go back to lean back? Remy got the hardest verse on the whole song.
Did you catch that one part where where Remy went up to Ja and Ja looked at her and said, I respect you, sis. You saving them though. Because at this point, Fat Joe had probably did like, okay, he did his You Gotta Flow Joe. He did his old school cuts a couple of times. Then he started rapping to other people's beats. And then all his stuff was like features. And it was like, even one point he played puns, whole, I ain't gotta be a playing no more. He played that whole joint. And Ja was like, Ja was
really, he got a couple bangers throughout the years, but let's be clear, bro.
Well, he got more in the cover
Joe
now.
Needed help. Joe needed help, bro. Yeah, he's not that guy.
Here's what Joe was banking on. Here was Joe was banking on, though.
Remy, that's why Remy stand out so much.
Joe said, sometimes it ain't about the lyrics. Sometimes about who you made a millionaire, which I've heard like Dame Dash say, and that's true boss talk. First boss certified, golden grind. Let's get it, man. Right, Brian Dash. But at the same time, it's like, I see where Joe's coming from in that regard because he did bring DJ Khaled out. He did bring I think he brought French Montana out, Remy Ma out. He made a lot of people, even what's that production group? Something in Dre. I forget the Cool and Dre.
Yeah, Cool and Dre.
That's all him. So he has literally, when you can make somebody else a millionaire.
I don't know if they from Miami, right?
No, but he did bring DJ Khaled out. He made that clear even on the thing. Now, if he's camping, that's one thing. But listen, dang, if you make people a millionaire, bro, and in this genre, this is the genre you do.
That's what I'm saying. That's his gift. You understand? That's what I'm saying. That's what
he's a rapper,
but he's not. You know, think man, Birdman that jumps on tracks,
no,
bro.
But Birdman
that's what I'm saying.
But Birdman has not done the Fat Joe.
Birdman has made other millionaires. You know what I'm saying?
On top of that,
Rich Gang,
right? On top of that, Fat Joe can honestly say that because remember how you always tell me we cut from different cloths? Fat Joe came from a cloth, transitioned to another cloth, and then he transitioned to another cloth and made people millionaires. So that's why I respect Joe. That's cold to me.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I respect about him.
And he's a rap, and he's a flow. He's a rap, bro.
But bro, it ain't hard to rap. These fools are becoming rappers in 2 days.
Not back then. You keep talking about today.
No, even then, it's not hard to rap. They ain't doing double entendres and all this other shit back then. Mercy, that's not what they own. It's cool to just do. They just regular raps, bro.
You know, I'll give you
Fat Joe for his time frame. If you talking about back then, he still wasn't a lyricist from back then.
I'll give you something.
So I
disagree with that last thing he said.
No, he just raps, but he's not.
That's not true. But opinion,
bro.
But bro, let me just say something. Good, if you come basic on a track,
terror.
Or if you come lyrical on a track, or you come swagged out on a track, let me tell you something. As an MC, as the artist, you still have to know which one to do. It's not as easy as my man's is talking about. That's why I won't kiss my Converse today. Like seriously, bro, I'm gonna start saying that. I'm gonna start saying kiss my Converse when I hear something that I don't like. No, bro, that's not true.
Man,
so you
say if you don't know, you know.
So with Ja Rule, even though he's a basic rapper to me, he knows and has the acumen, at least as an artist, to know I'm gonna do this on this track. I'm gonna do this on this track, which was usually the same for Ja Rule. I'm not caping. I'm just saying, don't think it's as easy as it really seems because lyrical cats sometimes be trying to rap over beats that are made for hits in the club and it don't work. So obviously somebody ain't smart enough to know what to do.
No, not, not doing that.
Maybe you don't know how to do it. That's all I'm saying.
It's clear who was the lyricist out of the duo with him and Pun, bro. So
well, we'll go back to the ladies real quick. I want to know your opinion about that too. But keep finishing your point. Finish your point.
What you mean? We didn't really get into the ladies.
No, I just mentioned that the ladies stole the show. What do you think about that?
Let's get it. I mean, they definitely added to it, bro. They brought more.
You don't think they stole it though?
Substance to it. I mean, maybe they did. I mean, it was a little piece that I missed too. I ain't gonna lie. In the beginning, I kind of missed a little bit of that. You know what I'm saying? But still, man, I want to get on this. What do you call them? Nappy headed? What do he say?
No. Let me hold on, brother. I'm trying to say that.
Joe, you wrong, man. You know damn well.
He did call him.
So I'm gonna pull these dusties, bro.
He called them crackheads. He said something about getting them from. He said, "I know you ain't got them ones from the crack house." He called them dusty hoes. Listen,
wow.
No, but wait. He apologized. Is that cool?
Boy,
is it cool?
Reverend Preach Tabernacle to this cat.
Is it cool to diss first and apologize second? Like
you ain't look. You can't.
This is America.
If you ain't Trump. You ain't one of them cats. No, ain't gonna apologize. You know, bro. First of all, it's a code.
If I screw up, I want the liberty to apologize. I'm not even gonna play with you, man. Like seriously, if y'all catch me slipping one day and I'm big time finally, please give me the one chance to apologize, like everybody else do in America.
You looking like a whole fool, especially man. You know how we get down black and brown. You know how we get down black and brown.
They look like a whole fool for a day though. They don't. No, I disagree with that. When they say
I didn't know bro said what he said. The other day, I didn't know he was.
What you think? Okay,
dusted them in here. Now, hold on.
Where you coming from?
Did he give Remy and them the little Birkin bag shit before? Or was that after?
That was later.
See. Now you a sucker. You understand?
Why you so emotional about this?
No, I ain't emotional. It's about how you gonna bring out. You done brought out a Birkin bag for was it Remy and
I'm not criticizing.
Who was the other one? Remy and
Vita.
No,
Ashanti. Excuse me.
Ashanti and Lil Mo got the Birkin bag,
right?
But the Vita and
no, not Vita. You said
no. Vita and somebody else was the nappy-headed hoes. No, my fault.
I thought it was Lil Mo and Vita was the nappy-headed hoes.
Yeah, I'm getting a little twisted up.
Yeah, but Ashanti and
Remy.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, somebody. That's what. So you got two Birkin bags for two females, right. Two sisters who was queens, and you love them and all this. But then the other one was two dusty hoes. You said you got out the crack house at the back, and one of them who actually had.
Now, there is. That's what I was gonna say. But hold up. Joe, now, if that was scripted,
talking about my bad. Somebody your publicist got on.
No. If that was scripted, like the Lots and the Dipset was cool, but but I'm trying to ask though. Listen, dog. Was it scripted? Because if it was scripted, this is that comment. I want to tell you something. That comment is borderline when Jeezy battled against Gucci. It's like a personal matter. Like they was actually had the drug issue. I know Lil Mo did. I don't know much about Vita, but my point is like that was a shot, bro. Because if they're recovering addicts, why would you? Unless y'all planned it. If y'all planned it, I'm cool with it. But still, I want to know why you passionate about it. Do you think he was getting at dark-skinned women or something like that? What you thinking? Because I've heard many people say this comment about why did he say the dusty blah blah blah, which he came out and apologized.
No, see, like I said initially, I didn't see that piece, bro. I saw him with the Birkin, surprise Remy. Surprise Ashanti, you know what I'm saying? Two lovely queens, you understand, with the gift. And so shout out to Breakfast Club, because I didn't see the other part until later. I'm like, hold on, Joe, I know you did But when they explained, my man's was caught up, you know what I'm saying? Adrenaline rushing, Midwest Twister, adrenaline rush, my favorite joke. But anyway, adrenaline was rushing, man. And the homie just got outside his body, man. And, you know what I'm saying? But how he did it, though, that's my thing. Like,
Change the outfits and
wow,
everything.
yeah, bro.
Hey, that's another thing. Real MCs,
Not
when
what
we
you
on.
do, but how you
I
do it.
once heard KRS once say this. I screwed up for this. KRS once said, when you on stage performing, he said, what I used to do back in the day is I have like a hat on, a coat on, another little jacket on, and a t-shirt underneath. He said, my point is, he said, I'm gonna rock a whole 20 to 30 minute set. So I'm gonna take my hat off after the first cut. After the next two cuts, I'm gonna take my jacket off. I'm gonna take the other jacket off. I'm gonna be in my t-shirt by the end of the night. But the point that he was making was you might disarm on stage, but you don't go backstage to make a full change and come back out. And see, to me, that's diva-like. So what I liked about Ja Rule is he stayed in performer mode. He didn't worry about that. He even criticized Joe with that. He said, look, I got him sweating. I already got him sweating. He got to go backstage and make a change in clothes and all. Listen, Dipset tried that. Cut from a different cloth. We didn't really, we cared about the Rakim chain and the jogging outfits, but we care more about what he was rapping, his performance. So we do care. Hip hop is fashion, no question. But at the same time, man, do the performance, bro. And there was too much of this, roasting cats, wilding out style. Hey, yo, John, hey, John, what you talking about? You got too many features. You got too many features. Joe, you got features. Like, I didn't understand that for the life of me, why he criticized Ja Rule about having too many features. Like, both of y'all got features. I don't understand these cats, how they be doing.
See, you had to go and see how, because Joe covered the Dipset and Locks joint in his own little, his podcast that he got, right?
Yep.
The big, I mean,
it's a good podcast.
You know what I'm saying? So Joe's been studying, and he was in the crowd of the Dipset joint too. See, now I'm starting to put two and two together.
Mm-hmm.
See, if you watch what he said about that, I shouldn't be surprised again how.
That's why I said it was funny. He came right after it, and then to me, he was one of the first ones to respond about the Locks and the Dipset. So him coming right after it was almost like strategic, almost in a way.
And it was.
But no, this is the part that's going to give you a little rise. See, this is this you gotta have you gotta have a moment of conspiracy theory for a second, just for the show. Listen, ain't it amazing how Fat Joe was one of the first ones to report on the Locks and the Dipset, giving it up for Jada, giving it up. He comes right after him. Every MC in this whole industry or on the streets knows, if you coming after me, you better than me. You supposed to be. Joe's trying to like come after Jada.
I mean, he's
and try to, but if you was trying to convince us you better than Jada, I mean, that ain't it. Like Ice Cube said, like Ice Cube said in the movie Straight Outta Compton, when Eazy-E tried to rap in the studio, that ain't it.
So if that said after what's Nicki Minaj's old cat, what's his name?
Oh yeah, Safari.
After he spit his verse, man, Charlamagne said that.
He told him to his face.
Charlamagne was like, man, that's why Charlamagne, you a damn fool.
Hey, this Safari like with the men.
Something fast. And then the camera cut to CTG. He's like, nah, that ain't it. He was so like sincere the way he said it, bro. So bogus for that, Charlotte.
Right.
Leonard, McKelvey.
Only Monique can call him Leonard. On camera.
And Monique, you a fool for how you my sweet baby. and then you would turn around and be like lit as hell. Like, cut that out, cut that good girl, you know,
talking
cut
about
that
stuff.
stuff. You a fool, I rock since you don't mind. You know,
honey, baby, child, sweetheart, darling of old Jesus. And this will come
Check
at
out the first episode, Grind That Podcast. That was Steve versus Monique, that whole little thing they had. That's a whole other. I won't get into that. But you know.
Hey, but point is, Joe, if that was your strategy, because I want people to really understand. I take MCing seriously. You do too. The making a good song, the artistry of it. So when you are in a versus battle and you say, who's the next one up? Every single one that we have saw kind of made sense after the other in its own genre, right? I think Anita Baker did one, right? Against somebody, I can't remember. But my point is, even with Snoop and DMX, if you're going to come after Snoop and DMX as a rapper MC, you better, that was a pretty good one. I like that. So when we're talking about the Locks and Dipset, to me, the Locks and Dipset, let me go all the way up to the camera top right there. That's the best one so far. So if you're coming after that, you better be showing us something.
Man, if you're talking about totality as far as MCing, like we're giving the folks a show and showing them, that's what that was about. And they even said that too. Like, bro, we showing you how this is supposed to be done, even as performers. You don't just walk back and forth, run a stage, holding your nuts, and not really, you know what I'm saying? Bringing the show and being a true MC, like you, true MCs, KRS-One, they rock the crowd, the whole crowd be rocking and see that's what that versus battle represented. That's why they said this is New York versus New York, but at the Madison Square, the whole ambiance was already set. I knew that was gonna be a classic, and so did Fat Joe. Because think about it, I didn't hear nothing about Joe doing no verses. It just kind of popped up. Him and Ja Rule. I was like,
let me ask you a question. I just thought of this when you was talking, man. A lot of times I'll be thinking of good things.
We still waiting on Lil Wayne. Who you gonna put with Weezy F Dep? Weezy F Baby though.
All right.
But then go ahead.
I'll be thinking of good things to say when you be building, bro. Do you think that it was a group battle? And the Fat Joe and the Ja Rule was a solo artist battle, so to speak. I just know, can I just tell you, if I'm performing with you, bro, I know it's gonna be a better show than if I'm performing alone. Do you think that makes a difference in this versus battle? Because we are going off hits, but it's still a versus battle. But sometimes I'm thinking like maybe the groups do have an advantage.
But this is what I mean, though. But see, this kind of speaks to the businessman and Fat Joe.
Okay.
Because I was wondering, like, where does it come from? Like I said, where did it come from? Fat Joe. For one, Fat Joe a cool dude.
Wait, which part was this?
Hold on. I'm just saying though, we didn't know he was coming. Who was coming after that? Or
we did not.
I don't know.
We did not.
I feel like it wasn't a promo, but
I got you.
I didn't even,
But why do you think he came after? Why?
But think about it though, of what I said from the very beginning and what surprised me. If I'm a Fat Joe who's not really known for performing like that, yeah, I got hits, but I'm not like a bus like a bus ride. He know right.
He say a lot of
shit. But he's just regular, right? He's regular. But Ja Rule, where would I be without you? Taking my shirt off here, and he got the women. Like Pac's told Biggs, you know what I'm saying? Hey, don't worry about the dude. Making music for the ladies. Hey, the ladies gonna do it, and the brothers gonna come. Look, Pac knew. When you think of who do we know, Fat Joe? But he ain't known as no sex symbol or nothing like that. But Rule got the shit. He got the physique. Matter of fact, Rule is better now than he did back then.
I got
The boy.
That matters,
right? But the thing about it is, bro, like he knew who to match me with. Okay. Weezy F, I don't know. Weezy might have blew him out the wall.
You really got him with the word.
That's why we still waiting on that one. Weezy would have blew him out, even though he had that Make It Rain. Not Fat Joe. I'm just saying. But if I'm a Fat Joe, I know. See, Fat Joe is strategic. See, Fat Joe don't front. He know his lane.
He can't mess with Weezy.
He know his lane. So again. But not only that, what I like about the Rule situation though is because he showed, bro, he knew what the 50 shit. Matter of fact, at one point it was him, Jada, everybody was going against 50. That's why that I got 100 good million. You understand? They
Yeah.
link for that
Because
one.
50
So
did
he
go at
knew I'm gonna
50
need
did
this, bro.
50 did go at Fat Joe and 50 did go at Ja Rule.
Right?
Go
Why
ahead.
not link up with my brother?
Go ahead.
He ain't really been performing, doing like, man, let me get Rule back out here because this new generation need to see, what I'm saying, what Ja Rule brings to the table.
I'm still
I'm just saying.
kind of at odds with you about something.
Man,
I mean, I got a lot of pushback, but I know I can't push you back.
Problem is,
you MMA fighting
man,
son of a gun.
Ain't got to do with it. But, man,
Listen, here's my pushback. Here's my pushback.
Shout out to Triller. Sponsorship.
I'm just trying to figure out why you never thought, because I can understand Ja Rule, but why you never thought Fat Joe was like an MC? Like, think of the early '90s for a second, please. Can you do that? Because even let me just let me just finish this one thought. KRS One, he's a dope MC, but I doubt that he would be over any kind of like UK drill beats or anything. So he's not kind of he no, I did not. He's not going. He's not really going to transition over to that. So I'm trying to figure out why you don't fit. So early '90s when Fat Joe came out, spitting how he was spitting. Why wouldn't you think Fat Joe early '90s when he came out, you got a Flow Joe, is not lyrical during that time? You said you never thought of Fat Joe as lyrical.
I mean, he was okay, bro. He wasn't he was regular. What time frame are you talking about?
Tell me somebody who's not regular. Just one person.
What are you talking about? 92 through 95?
No. 91, 92, 93. Right before we got in high school.
Bruh, man, Joe was a regular dude.
I think it came out in 93, y'all. Because I was in wait, I was in junior high. 95. No. Fat Joe came out in 1995. Fat Joe came out.
We coming down to the few moments of the episode you did.
Yeah.
We want to get this right though.
Fat Joe, I definitely believe came out in 1995. I like to because I remember that time. That was during the time KRS One had "Step Into a World." Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. How you gonna follow that?
But they both from the Bronx, so I had to listen to the next guy up.
I don't care. We from the
who else from the Bronx? Bruh.
Don't talk. You talk like Fat Joe was one of the ones out of the Bronx.
No. Listen, he's capping right now.
If
if in our state Rhyme Sayers blew up, and then let's say I got you. But let's say the next person to blow up was like somebody named Miyagi Vice. We not gonna listen to him, or King Vice. We not gonna listen to him. We all from Minnesota. We gonna listen to you. So don't say that doesn't matter where you from. Hip hop started in the Bronx. KRS One was rocking it for years. Then this guy Fat Joe come.
Man, Joe.
All right, let me see.
Who else came before Fat Joe though?
From the Bronx?
Yeah.
Nobody, I don't think. I'm telling you this. I used to listen to the people like Artifacts and King Just and all these underground MCs that was affiliated with Wu-Tang and all these other. Listen, I'm a savant of 90s hip hop for sure on that one.
I am too. See, I took it all around the nation.
But you were savant. You were savant of more mid. You was Midwest.
Far side.
But weren't you more Midwest? West Coast?
No.
I was more East Coast.
I'm about to take you around. I'm around the nation. So then I brought you back to the Midwest with Twister, with Do or Die, in Common. You know what I'm saying? I took you out west. Of course, we had NWA, Eazy-E, Dr. Dre, Cube, Ice-T, the end of Diddy, and we go from there. And I take you down south, man. And we got Scarface, A-Ball, MJG,
He getting emotional. He think I'm challenging his hip hop. No, I'm not. I know you know Cat.
He the reason you got to put the explicit label on your album now.
Hey,
Luke.
Hey, when I was younger,
shout out.
When I was young, go ahead, man. When I was younger, dog. Hey, in order for you to prove that you listen to rap music in middle school, you had to name a lot of rappers, people you listen to. I know he's a savant on his hip hop, but for the record, Fat Joe came out in 1993. He came out in 1993 when I started high school, right?
92 actually.
It said
But go
1993
ahead.
on the joint.
92 to present, but go ahead.
Go for it.
And I give you
So
that.
so look at this. So check this out. KRS-One is rocking the Bronx. The next big rapper to come out for some reason that we don't know about in Minnesota, but he from the Bronx. He's the next one up. That's literally how it went. That's a fact in the Bronx. New York hip hop. He came out next. So of course, me being
from the Bronx too.
That's a good question. I'm not sure about that one. I'm not really sure about that one. But he is Cuban, right? So that's the connection. That's the connection. And shout out to Big Punisher's that Big Punisher record. Literally, I used to bang that on the way to football practice, bang that on the way to rapping at the hip hop shows at the 7th Street Entry and all that. I used to bang Big Pun. I used to sit back and be like, I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to get to that cadence.
89.
No, but when did he go?
But I'm just saying, I'm just looking at the whole wow.
But did you hear what he said? Check this out. Fat Joe comes out in 1992. Big Pun comes out in 95, but you respect a guy like Big Pun because he has always been rapping since 89. That's why Fat Joe, and that's why I can tell what kind of cloth he's cut from. But I will say one thing to get back on the Verzuz battle while he's looking up something. I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm gonna tell you right now before we end. I am not a fan. Maybe Anita Baker can get away with this. Maybe whoever does a singing contest can get away with this. But if you're a rapper, the way that the Verzuz bar has been raised, you know what? You need to rap your own lyrics, dog. You forget the background track. If you're gonna do a background track, make it have it on points and spots, not the whole thing, Fat Joe. Jesus, I'm so serious about this. That ain't MC.
Wow, but check it out, man. We're gonna wrap up, man. Y'all tell us what y'all think about this. Hold on. No, I'm just saying.
I just want to know who you thought won.
No, I don't even. To be honest with you, bro, this is one of my least favorite. You know what I'm saying? Versus at the end of the day, I don't even want to.
And it's funny, Rick.
Fat Joe he's got the rockers that I mess with more. Okay. But I gotta look at it, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna look at it just objectively because I need to see. But Ja Rule did have the hits with the ladies though.
30 seconds or less.
So right here, if I'm gonna do the judging thing, boom, hit for hit, bam, bam, I think it's gonna come down to the performances, man. Like Ja Rule was able to captivate that audience, man. You understand? Like that's what I'm saying. To see Fat Joe's hits always. The shit I'm talking about always with other folks too. I mean, Ja Rule too, but
yeah.
I don't know, man. The culture won for sure, but if I'm gonna edge it to somebody, man, I'm gonna give it to Rule, man. I'm gonna give it to Rule.
I'm gonna say this.
Even though I rocks with Fat Joe, man, my lifestyle is much.
I'm gonna take my glasses off for this one because we finna end.
Don't do that.
We finna end, brother. We finna end.
This cat here.
I got pretty eyes, man. This was my wife tell me. Hey, listen. So here's the thing. This cat,
West shit.
Yo, my wife.
AC in the building.
So here's the deal, right? I give him I give him a lot of credit on that fact he just spit. He said, I was really not enthused about this one. You wrong for that, but you right for it at the same time. Yo, I was talking to a lot of cats from the north side to the south side of Minneapolis, and what they told me was. I ain't even watched that one. I was like, it's weird because a lot of cats ain't really watched this one.
They didn't even market it then. You know what I'm saying, bro? It was a day of. Man. I'm like,
he was rushing to get this response out. Jesus.
I get COVID, see some stuff, boy,
But I'm gonna say for the record. This is my last point. 30 seconds less. Fat Joe is a better MC. Than Ja Rule. In my opinion, he's done enough to let me know that he's cut from a different cloth. But in this Verzuz battle, Ja Rule won just based off of, hip hop started out in the park. We used to battle right at the dog.
And if it wasn't for the Bronx,
dude was authentic with his performance. It was really about controlling the party, emceeing and being live before it was about like you want to do something else with the lyrics. So I give Ja Rule credit. He has enough hits. Even in, and this is the part that's crazy right here. Hold on, this is the part that's crazy. Fat Joe literally came out before Ja Rule, and he's still making music after Ja Rule. But the middle, but but the that's true. But the middle slot that Ja Rule held in hip hop, the middle slot that he held in hip hop, it can compete with both of Joe's eras. So Ja Rule won this one. Never thought that was a surprise to me.
Shout out to the Rule. Shout out to Fat Joe. Because like I said, any day the culture one, man. He did.
Yeah!
Big me out device in the building, man.
These nerves.
Ja Rule back up there, man. His element, man.
You think
and
he
to
broke?
be honest, man, our guys, man, it must be the black don't crack, man. Because, you know, brother, damn near better than he did back then, man. Just in the performance, the energy that he brought to the table. These youngins ain't even bringing that type of energy.
And you can tell Ja Rule really does have respect in the industry because even when Remy came out, Fat Joe and him was buddies. You know, you can tell that people respect him. The only person that don't respect Ja Rule is 50 Cent.
Hey, on that tip, man, we out of here, man. Talk that shit. Grind that podcast episode 4. We out. You know, my brother El Reezy in the building, man. Big Miyagi Vice, King Vice Versa, man. Holla, man. Let them know, man.
These Nuts. Deep discussion with These Nuts coming live. You know we doing the music thing. Please look for that Whoopty remix track that we did on the B mix. We are live with the music. Get on YouTube, boy. Show you what you're doing. Research your boys and understand how we gonna ruin.
All right, we out, man. One yourself. Yee!